sure you take a good look at him before, because I guarantee you, he's gonna look pretty handsome when he gets his hair cut. Branches are growing kind of wild there. No worries, we'll fix that. It'll look like a brand new tree. And just in case if you were wondering, I've had this little ginseng for probably close to a year. No, actually, it's probably over a year by now. He's already been through one trimming, and look how much growth he's done, branch-wise. Here. I think his trunk is thickened up a little bit. So for today's bonsai trimming activity, we'll actually need about 2 different products, or 2 different tools to use. We will simply need a bottle of spray water. This is just so the little guy doesn't dry out. When I'm cutting his leaves, I want to make sure they're moist. And the next thing we'll need is actually the most important tool, which is bonsai trimmers. Very useful. A must-have if you plan on doing bonsai ever. This is able to allows you to trim the branches properly. You don't want to use something like scissors. Scissors aren't designed to properly cut down bonsai leaves. It needs to be extra sharp. And these do the trick. Not too expensive. And like I said earlier, we'll be using the water to make sure this guy doesn't, the leaves don't dry out. So, I mean, it's just nice. I'm sure he gets a little bit thirsty. So, just plain water with a little bit of bonsai food mixed in helps them grow. Just testing it out. I'm gonna make sure that it works. Nothing. Alright, enough of that. I'm actually gonna clean up this mess so I don't get too wet while I'm working on it. Don't want a wet dry. I mean, you don't want a wet workstation. It's the last thing you want. I don't want to get my clothes wet. Alright, so that's dry, and I think we're ready to go to the next step and actually start trimming. Alright, well, you guys have been patiently waiting, and it's time to actually start trimming this little guy and giving him his makeover. Alright. We are actually going to start here. Bonsai tools ready. It's kind of going crazy up here at the top. Trim this little guy. Just go around a couple of times. You want to make sure you do it as even as possible. It's looking kind of crowded up there at the top. Starting to look better already. I'm gonna put this guy down here. Doesn't get too much love. Bonsai is all about taking your time. Okay, I see one down here and back here. not looking too healthy, so I'll go ahead and trim this guy right here in the back. Get to it. Ah, got it. Yeah, this guy's not doing too well. Get rid of him. Just clean that up a little bit. And sorry if you guys can't hear me. I know I don't have the best quality mic. But if it all goes well and you guys like this video, I will definitely be more than happy to invest in a new microphone. Alright, well, I'm back. I decided to switch sides. No big major reason or anything like that. But if you notice, I had to put down this bag because it was scratching up my table when I was moving it around. So now with the plastic bag, it won't scratch my table anymore. Alright, so back to clipping. This guy right here. After doing research, I think the goal is to cut about 30% of the branches off. You don't necessarily want to cut everything off, but you definitely want to cut a good amount off to encourage new growth. See, these guys here are kind of curling up, so you know what, I'll leave that one. But this guy looks like he might be able to go. Got that little guy for you. Alright, so I'm going to go a little bit deeper inside and do a little cutting there. So, hope you guys can see, but we'll try to work around it. I'm going to lighten up the foliage a little bit. He was looking a little bushy. Alright, so I decided to record from a different perspective, and it allows me to see a little bit better so I can, keep cutting and you guys can see a little bit differently from a different view. You see how the foliage up here is a little bit thick? I kind of want to brighten it up a little bit, and so I'm actually going to go inside here and cut some of these little guys. That guy, he's out of here. If you're ever thinking about doing bonsai, I definitely suggest that you do a lot of research. Bonsais are really, really easy to harm and easy to kill off. This guy was actually the one that I thought was going to die on me because I actually bought him from a grocery store. And one thing about bonsais, you want to make sure that they're in pots like this one, where the water can actually drain out. You want to make sure it's got the proper drainage holes in there. Needless to say, when I bought him, he was in an improper pot and I had to change it because I didn't want him to die prematurely. So this section here is actually, I'm not liking the way it's looking, so I'm actually going to trim some of it down. These guys clearly don't get too much sun in here, so I already trimmed him off. This guy doesn't look too healthy down here. Alright. I'm actually going to take it back what I said about this branch here. I'm just going to go ahead and hopefully it doesn't kill him. I don't think so, but I'm going to trim him down. Alright, so I'm going to step back and see how I'm liking the way it looks so far. He's definitely thinning out. Some of these guys down here need to be trimmed. To be honest with you, I think we're almost done here. Just a couple more. this time I'm gonna give this little guy a nice fits. I ordered him probably yesterday or earlier today, I don't actually remember. He's got a little moisture there, but I'll just spray him just because he got a haircut, and why not refresh him after a nice haircut? So make sure I spread this out to catch any water that might come. Let's clean up later. So here's go. And here we have the finished product. Let's get a closer look at him and his leaves and his foliage. And there you have it. A brand new, well, not brand new, but has a brand new look to him. And that's my bonsai tree with a fresh trimming. See what difference it makes in comparison to the beginning of the video. He looked very busy and very bushy, as I might say. I think that's the appropriate word. So what I actually did was open up the foliage so I could get more sunlight to those other leaves that are towards the bottom or inside, and it'll hopefully produce more growth. And a couple of months down the road, he'll probably have even more branches and even more foliage. So I'll keep you guys updated, and until then, feel free to ask me any bonsai questions or ASMR requests. I know this is my first ASMR video, but I'm Voice Man, and you can check out my main channel where I like to make funny stuff. So in the meantime, feel free to make some recommendations or what you might want to see. And hopefully you're asleep by this time in the video. If you're not asleep, then I feel like I didn't do my job. But if anything, I hope you're relaxed and maybe you've learned something new about bonsai trees. Until then, take care, Voice Man.